We are here for United for Justice. That's United for Justice. It's 4:30. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon on October the 1st, 2014. People are here for a different variety of reasons. Some DCFS related. Some of the criminal justice system. But one thing's for sure, everybody is here for something related to the injustices that are happening all across the U.S. So, hopefully it should be getting started here soon, probably about another 5 minutes. This is Matt Staley, by the way. I'm the founder and admin of DCFS is the problem, not the solution, Illinois, on Facebook. You can find us at facebook.com/groups/fight DCFS. Okay. We're outside of the Thompson Center, downtown Chicago. There it is right here. I guess we're starting. Here's the news. Just put the Gatorade over there at the bottom.
situation as if I've been dragged into a dark alley and I'm being mugged and there's nothing I can do about it. Now, I'm an Illinois licensed clinical psychologist and PhD research neuroscientist from the University of Illinois Chicago. And I thought to myself, you're effing with the wrong mom. And then I thought, how many mothers has he said this to? Only to find out that Mr. Wessel is appointed by Chief Judge Evans when he was the head of the family court. So we're talking about public corruption, and that we're following the lead of New York and Wisconsin, who have created independent commissions to start to investigate corrupt prosecutors, because Mr. Wessel, in my opinion, should have been arrested for 2 violations of the Illinois Criminal Code when he said this to me. Number 1, harassment of a witness and official misconduct.
What is he trying to say when he says something like that?
He's saying to me you have to submit to the extortion under color of official right, i.e. the racketeering activity that we now have direct evidence of occurring in that building. The problem is that the family court is also subsidized by federal taxpayer dollars. So we've got a whole layer of crimes taking place that we have direct evidence of and we have no prosecutor. We're just harmed and we have no relief. So we're following the lead of New York and of Wisconsin to put 2 states before the Illinois legislature to create commissions where prosecutorial misconduct, the lack of uniform application of law. Let's target poor black kids on the street. Let's torture them into confessions and put them in jail on the taxpayer's tab for 20 years. But let's not protect children from abuse. Let's let attorneys commit Article 32 and Article 33 crimes and get paid for it. One father in that building was ordered to pay $250,000 for a lawyer engaging in the same alleged criminal acts as Mr. Wessel in my case. So the other is the commission, an independent commission for crimes by police officers.
You guys have any paperwork I can take back to the station? Press release, anything like that?
No, I was just, Chad sent out the press release.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I'm not here to cover this particular issue. We didn't interview Chad earlier.
Well, hopefully, as we're down in Springfield lobbying and fighting for this bill, you'll do some coverage then as we try to speak to the Rules Committee and speak to the we're basically following the lead of the advances in other states.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can overcome the corruption in Illinois to get these things established here.
All right. Good luck. Thank you for explaining it to me. No, it's exactly natural. You know, just do your thing, whatever you're doing out here.
It's a long road.
The Monterey, I think, misconfused the or
Well, what's going on? I'm sorry.
That's what I'm trying to figure
The
out.
WGN people only came for the libertarian candidates, not the event.
Did they really? That's what I thought. That's what I thought I heard him say.
I'm like,
Oh, he was taking shots of all of us holding the stuff. Who knows if that'll actually make it in?
so the WGN was only here to cover the libertarian candidates, not the group. Oh, really? Who was it all? What did they know? It was, yeah, sent out to wow.
Yeah, one thing.
I don't know how you can separate the two. I don't know. So that was the WGN guy.
You want to do our own video footage and put it up?
That's why I got my little camera.
Oh, okay.
I'm planning on posting this. So.
Okay, so we can just go forward with the press release.
Well, the other thing
The press conference.
is to be in Trump's here. Is there going to be a rally for the bird release? I don't think they get stuff. That didn't come through?
Well, this time that you guys have time to.
Let me know when you're ready to say something.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just go forward with the press conference. We'll just take it off. So I'll sound it off, hand it to you, hand it to Sheila, and then we can hand it to Armanda.
Yeah, do you see a bus here? Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to go forward with the press conference. I'll video it ourselves.
Yeah, I was at Oh, yeah, okay, great.
Oh, no, they just came for the candidate.
Very good. I think it's your time.
They gotta be on their line.
Very good. The process. Oh, yeah, the process. Boy, did you figure out what that is?
Yeah.
Nope.
All right, now have you met everybody? Have all met mine? Okay.
how to do that.
She can hold it with both hands.
Yeah.
On each hand.
Oh, here, Debbie. I can help you hold it too.
Yeah, so this way. Oh, my eavesdrop. Stand in line. Oh, I'm with them.
I know about that, but I didn't get the others because you have to pick up the paper and it's like I got it right there. Where's the money?
Today is October 1st, standing in front of the Thompson Center in Chicago, Uniting for Justice, the citizens group, and standing with us to support our effort to unite for justice is the Illinois candidate for governor, Libertarian candidate, Chad Grimm. Thank you, Chad, for being with us today. Could you give a moment to explain why it is you stood in support and solidarity with us citizens?
Thanks, Denise. Excuse me. I was fortunate enough to get contacted by this group via my website, and I was invited to listen in on a conference call that they conducted on Saturday. And I was able to hear many stories from many different people that were quite touching, and what they're doing, I stand completely 100% behind. We live in a society where we need to have checks and balances on elected officials, and they're pushing for some legislation that moves in that direction, and I support them 100%. They're going to tell you a few stories about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. If we had more candidates who would come out in support of the people upon election, maybe the people's interest would actually be served. The two laws that we're trying to enact in the state of Illinois is the Malicious Prosecution Commission. We need to be able to have disciplinary action against prosecutors who withhold exculpatory evidence that can prove the innocence of defendants prior to a wrongful conviction costing them decades of their lives and millions of taxpayer dollars. We also want to provide an independent commission to disallow police from policing police, so that when there are criminal offenses, victims of the violent crime will have access to justice. And in support of these two pieces of legislation, we're going to hear the testimonials of individuals that will give rise to the consciousness of the people to say that the American citizens in the state of Illinois must have remedy and justice.
Good afternoon. My name is Amanda Shackelford. I'm the mother of Gerald Reed. Gerald Reed will be incarcerated 24 years on Friday. That's the 3rd of October. My son was tortured into signing a confession for 2 counts of murder, which he did not do. I want something done, and not only for my son. Other men that have went through the same thing, like Jeanette Palmer, her son's name is Johnny Palmer. He was 15 years old when they did this to him. All of this was wrong. Now, the way I feel about it, if they did the crime, they should be punished. But if they did not do the crime, why are you going to torture me into signing a confession for something that I did not do? There's something wrong with that picture. If I didn't do it, don't make me say I did it. Don't beat me or kick me or do things horrible to me to make me do what you want me to do. That's not fair. And as a matter of fact, that's not even the law. There's nowhere in the law that you can say that that's right. That is completely wrong. And it shouldn't have never happened. Also, I feel like if they did better watch on their officers, things like that wouldn't have never happened. Because it shouldn't have never happened. But it's still going on today. And it needs to stop. It shouldn't have never started. But it needs to stop.
Bradley. I'm a supporter of Miss Shackelford. And as you all know, John Burge gets out the penitentiary tomorrow. John Burge and the officers under him were responsible for torturing her son and over 130 other African American men. Ivan Smith. What's the brother's name? Javon Deloney. Mark Max. George Anderson. It goes on and on and on. So we all need to stand together and ask that those individuals be allowed a fair trial or another trial. And one of the things I hope that their attorneys demand, that they subpoena John Burge back into the courtroom so that these individuals can get a fair hearing.
My name is Elliot Zinger. I'm an attorney in Chicago. I represent Gerald Reed, Ms. Shackelford's son, and I've been working for him for the last several years, fighting for justice in the courts. I also represent a host of other torture victims of the John Burge era. And what Ms. Shackelford told you is completely true. The problem in that era and the problem today is that there's no check and balance of power. This is why the police and the state's attorney can do whatever they want, because no one's watching them. There's the courts are insufficient to address the power that's given to these people. And we fight every day in the courts for justice, but that is not enough. We need legislation proposed that will compensate victims and prevent future people from becoming victims. Because when there's a check and balance on the system, then you can have some justice and not before. Thank you for your support.
Esther is going to read a letter because it's an emotional situation. She has 2 sons in the prison right now, very much like Armanda with her son in prison.
Hello everyone, my name is Esther Hernandez, founder of the Innocent Demand Justice Committee. This organization is to support other families who endure the same tragedy of wrongful conviction. I feel these 2 pieces of legislation will further my organization's cause and the cause that I'm fighting for. To access justice and free my innocent son many other innocent men home to their loved ones. I plead with you, please. Pass this bill so that these prosecutors and police officers will stop convicting innocent people for crimes they did not commit. At the end, the detectives and prosecutors knowingly and wrongfully have convicted innocent men and them not be prosecutor themselves for the wrongdoing and still receiving paychecks and retirement pay. Why? I ask myself why. I beg you, government figures and everybody else, I pray don't look the other way, please. We suffer enough. Thank you. God bless.
And I am an attorney in the state of Illinois. I am also a patent attorney. Normally my practice is completely different than what it's become recently. And what my practice has become recently has drawn me up to the 18th floor of the Daily Center into the probate division where things are not being handled as they should. The law is clearly X and the courts are doing Y. They are railroading all types of seniors into guardianships without due process, without summons, complaint, without notice to the next of kin as required by the Illinois Probate Act. I stand here today because I am representing clients such as John Wyman in Rockford, whose mother was put in the worst nursing home in the state of Illinois when she suffered
almost daily beatings and sexual abuse. She finally escaped to go out to Colorado, where she became an artist, painting 300 nationally acclaimed paintings. Last week I was in court, and the jails had the gall to go after him for a rule to show cause because he saved his mother from death. She was down a pint of blood. She was near death when he picked her up and saved her from disaster. When he turned her into a wonderful artist and gave her the freedom to paint. But what this woman gave up was 4 years under an abusive guardianship where there was no jurisdiction, no summons, and no complaint. She couldn't go back to Illinois to see her beloved grandchildren and other children. That's how these people suffer. Her whole life in shambles in Rockford, because that's what the probate court does. I have so many stories like this, and for telling those stories about the Sykes case, the Wyman case, the Bedeen case, all types of cases where severe injustices were promulgated by our Illinois court system, the ARDC has come after my law license for merely running a blog. I tell the truth on my blog. I don't mince words. I let my victims post what they want to post. I let other attorneys post what they want to post. And yet the ARDC attorney said that my blog, as I call it, yelling fire in a crowded theater. Well, there's something seriously wrong with our ARDC, and the citizens have to tell the ARDC we need more attorneys that speak out against corruption. We need more attorneys willing to defend clients for low cost or for free at the peril of their law license. A lot of things have to change in this respect, but the ARDC needs a real house cleaning, starting at the top with Jerome Larkin and with the litigation attorneys. They have no respect for the attorneys out there on the streets, in the courtrooms, who are standing up for the truth, for human rights, for civil rights, to protect people from being pushed into nursing homes against their will. It's almost impossible right now to keep a senior who doesn't want to be in a nursing home out of a nursing home. The powers that be put them in a nursing home, take all their asses, liquidate them, and all of that money goes to the attorneys and the attorney fees, and there's something seriously wrong with that. And I would like to pass this on to Mr. Lanre Amu, who has his own story with the ARDC.
Thank you. My name is Lanre Amu, and I do have a story, and it's on my website. I direct people to go to www.lanreamu.com. Lanre Amu is spelled L-A-N-R-E, last name A-M-U.com. You will hear my story. It's a horrific story. I have been a lawyer in the state of Illinois for 16 years. I have practiced law in the criminal division, at the Daily Center, at the juvenile court, name it. Our court system is in need of reform because it's not meeting the aspirations of the people. We need a more accountable system, a more transparent system, a more just system. It's simply not enough to railroad people to poverty. It's not enough to incarcerate people. It's not enough to silence lawyers who are courageous enough to speak up about what is wrong with our judicial system. Judges need to be accountable. They need to be transparent. And they need to be honest. You may think these are simple things, but if you get into the trenches of our court system, there is a lot of corruption that is not being reported. We hear about aldermen going to jail, governors going to jail, senators going to jail, congressmen going to jail, but nobody talks about the court system. There's just as much corruption within our court system as any of these other people. And it's about time reform needs to be brought into the court system to expose these things and to make these judges accountable. Judges are human beings like anybody else. They have no special privileges. It's not enough to just be sending people to jails and be sending people away for life, incarcerating people, destroying people's lives, when you yourself are not better than the people you're sending to jails. For 16 years, I have practiced law with integrity, with honesty. I'm not a perfect person, but I have compassion for the common man. I was dissatisfied with what is going on at Data Center, and I filed complaints, legitimate complaints. The next thing I knew was they pulled my law license. I'm supposed to be suspended for 3 years for exposing judicial corruption in Illinois. It is outrageous. I direct you to my website to listen to my story. www.lanreamu.com. That's LANREAMU.com. And if anybody thinks that what I'm saying there is not true, then let us convene a videotaped hearing. I want a fair hearing so that the American people can decide who is telling the truth, whether it's me or it's the court system and their conspiracy. Thank you very much.
Dr. Sheila Mannix, the co-founder of Illinois Family Court Accountability Advocates. And I'm here today to support this grassroots movement of many citizens who've been harmed in many ways by public corruption. The two bills that we're putting forth have passed in New York and in Wisconsin. They're specifically targeting prosecutorial misconduct, state's attorneys or district attorneys, and misconduct by police officers. They are independent, the creation of independent boards. The way it is in Illinois right now is literally that the foxes are guarding the hen house and that there are internal investigations so that the foxes are evaluating each other. And any common person understands that that just doesn't make sense given the reality and the statistics of what illegal activity is taking place among our public officials. Currently, these efforts are targeting what we already have proven in Illinois over many, many years of number of governors being convicted, but most especially Operation Greylord and Operation Gambit of approximately 25 years ago. We have a serious problem of corruption, and we do not have the prosecutors and the systems of commissions of independent analysis of what constitutional rights are being violated. Currently, they claim immunity, sovereign immunity, privilege, these types of illegal terms. But the reality of the situation is that they are committing crimes themselves against our citizens. So I'm hoping that we get the support of the lobbyists down in Springfield and of the representatives of the people of Illinois to stop the crimes against citizens of Illinois by those who are supposed to be upholding the law. Thank you.
My name is Ashley Staley, and DCFS wrongfully removed my children. When I brought my daughter to the hospital for a small bruise on her face, they subsequently have taken two of my other children into care for no other reason other than I gave birth to them. I have been doing everything on the service plan that they have given to me, and this has been going on for 3 years. I've finally done a service appeal, and an ALJ judge found that I had been doing everything I was supposed to since the beginning of this case. Since that finding, DCFS has ignored that, called me a conspiracy theorist in court, said that I'm working on fighting the system because I'm doing my own appeals and pro se motions, and I need to just stop fighting, and they have put in a petition to terminate my rights. They have separated all 4 of my children into 4 different foster homes, not allowed them to go to any family members, and during the course of all of this, my very first public defender was the one that told me to plead neglect in court, otherwise I would get neglect and this would not go well for me. I was naive and I pled neglect, and subsequently have had all my children ripped from me and each other and their families. And this happens all over the place. This happened in Effingham, Illinois, but this is going on all over the nation. And I would just like to address the corruption in all the court systems and all the injustices happening in every circumstance, DCFS included. Thank you.
I have a statement from Penny. She's in Effingham County. She wasn't able to be here today. Similar to Ashley's situation. Here's the this picture is of Penny's little girl, who's also been wrongfully removed by DCFS. There is no evidence of a crime. This little girl was ripped apart from her mother because DCFS has some unknown authority to do so. There is no cause, no prosecution, no charge, but yet this child remains in the custody of a stranger, and the parents of this child, the biological parents, cannot even visit with her. Somehow our state, DCFS, has been able to steal the children from good, loving parents. Please ask our state legislature, our governor, all these people who pay the budget for the salaries of these individuals who kidnap children. Ask them, how is it possible a child is removed from a home when there is no crime committed? There's no prosecution. Why is this child in stranger care so that the foster parent can get money that is paid for by the tax dollars? Our children are not commodities. Prisons are not shelters for children who should be home with their parents, because they are being used as commodities through the taxpayer dollars. And if these elected officials, the governor who has to approve the budget, needs to start disciplining these agencies with oversight and having enforceable laws so that we as citizens can raise our children in peace, prosperity, and that requires justice.
Absolutely.
So unite for justice, justice for all. Join us in our effort to pass the two laws so that nobody's children can be kidnapped and stolen from them by this corrupt, greedy, evil system that our taxpayer dollars is funding. Wake up!
Yes!
You state your name and which organization you work for?
I'm Denise Rothheimer. I'm the founder of Unite for Justice. I passed two laws, starting with my daughter, who was raped at 11. I learned 12 years ago, this system does not give us citizens, us first-class American citizens, what is called standing. Standing is what allows for a remedy. You cannot seek a remedy to redress your grievances without standing. And in order to have standing, you need to have enforceable rights. Our government takes our rights away by violating us, victimizing us. I am the author of those two laws. I want everybody who suffered the way we have. We want to protect our children. We love our children. We'll fight forever if it takes. We want to prevent other children from suffering the harm and parents from grieving that loss. So unite with us. Denise Rothheimer, Unite for Justice. Who is next to speak? You want to speak?
I
You want me
would
to
like
video
to.
you?
My name is Matthew Staley, and I'm going to keep this very brief. I'm moment ago, you got to hear Ashley Staley here talk about, in a very brief manner, of what happened to her, the atrocities of Illinois DCFS. But the truth is what she spoke was a mere minute and a half. But this case has been almost 4 years long. Why is it that in the mid-90s, the federal government found it absolutely acceptable to give federal incentives to DCFS to adopt out children? This is children for sale. This is not a joke. This is kids for cash. This is disgusting. This is sick. You know, if America would put as much time and effort as it does into shoving its nose into other countries and everybody else's business than it put into our own country, maybe then it would realize why we are the laughingstock of the world. And that is all I have to say.
That's right. So you don't want to say anything, Annabelle? All right, so I'm going to close it. Everybody good?
I just want to say again, my name is Lanre Amu, and www.lanreamu.com. Lanre, last name AMU.com. You will hear my story. It's a horrific story. Thank you.
All right, Chad?
Hi, my name is Annabelle Perez, and this is my son, Jaime Juan, who has been wrongfully convicted for the past 18 years. He's been tortured by the Chicago police. They took my son from my house, and he's been kidnapped all these years. My son has not been able to come home for a crime that he didn't do. The police officer sitting in prison. The Tribune investigated the case and saw that my son, and put it in the front page, the torture committee investigated the case and found that my son was wrongfully convicted, tortured by the Chicago police, but could not pass the case because he was not a John Burge. John Burge was not the first nor the last. There is plenty other ones. And we need to open up all these cases because there's at least 100 other cases of types that were not with John Burge. They made a torture committee for the Burge cases, but it was to shut the people up. We stood quiet, but we need to take a stand and go forward. When my son got 2 natural life, I was sentenced to 2 natural life. My life stopped, and I need to move forward. I need for the government to look back on my son's case and open it up again. Not just mine. There's plenty of other mothers here who have their sons who are going through the same thing that we're going through. Thank you. Chad, we're going to be open with joining with Chad Krim, the Libertarian candidate for governor. I want it to be known and to be reflected that when you have a candidate for an office such as governor, take the time to spend hours on the ground with the people to hear their plight, even though there's a very slim chance of winning. He's out here. If he can get 5% of the vote, the Libertarian Party can become established. And what we can do by accomplishing that goal is we can break up this monopoly with Democrats and Republicans, the machine. We can end the machine that are killing the people, the sovereignty of the people. That would be at least one victory. And I want to thank Chad for at least going to task on trying to establish another party so that the people will have a choice, so that these elected officials will stop acting so snobbish and arrogant and sitting in their offices and never taking the time out to be on the concrete with us in front of this bullhorn when we're the ones who are paying for it. So Chad, please give out your website, how people can contact you. It's not going to take much of an effort to get the Libertarian Party established this year. It's prime time. Everybody is upset.
You know, I'm honored that I can be a part of this, and anybody that wants to follow my campaign, you can go to www.grimforliberty.com, and there's connections on there and all the social media and things like that. Thank you again.
Thank you.